This is an industry problem. So we can't help it. The only thing we can do is a lot of effort goes in each party.
My guest today is Sonal Buvalka.
You know, we do beautiful decors and it's rained. When you come for a party, you're coming with a relaxed mood, you're coming to eat food, this, that. But to put up that event, we have gone through so much. We were there 6 hours before, we are going to be 4 hours after you leave the party.
Client comes to you with a vague idea saying that, okay, I want a magical birthday party for my child.
Birthday parties are a very big thing now, like theme birthday parties. There's so many things, so many activities for kids. There needs to be activities for adults. There needs to be gourmet food, big, larger than life cake.
But then you went and started doing something completely different. Squeaky clean.
I did a whole lot of research on Google and there was nothing like it. There was no product like this. It was strange. And even now, if you see and you just type in squeaky clean soap tablets online on Google, we are the only people who are doing this. In FMCG, the distribution market is never enough. Yeah, so you can't take things to heart. With any kind of business, I think there are failures and you cannot take it ki, okay, you know, this is the end of it. You have to say, theek hai, khatam ho gaya, let's move on, do something else. I would say you start first and then everything will follow.
You know that moment when you walk into a public restroom, you look at the soap dispenser and it's either empty, broken, or you just don't trust it. Yeah, we've all been there. Most of us just rinse our hands and move on. But today's guest looked at that exact moment and thought, wait, why hasn't someone fixed this yet? Flow Bengaluru presents Beyond the Bio. I'm Subhashini Lakshman and this is our new episode, Clean Hands, Big Dreams, proudly presented by Sahasra Property Capital because they believe, like we do, that the most important investment you can make in how you think, lead and live. My guest today is Sonal Buvalka, born and raised right here in Bangalore, Bishop Cotton's Christ University. She did the corporate finance thing, but the girl who grew up dancing and singing at every opportunity was never going to sit at a desk forever. Today she runs 2 businesses, Athara Events, where she curates intimate, high-quality events that are big on experience and detail, and Squeaky Clean, a portable soap tablet brand that came from the exact frustration we all know too well. No soap, no trust, no option until now. Sonal, welcome to Beyond the Bio. This is where it gets real. Sonal, you grew up in Bangalore, went to Bishop Cotton's and then Christ University. You were signing up for everything that fell into the creative umbrella. You also did very well academically. Was it a real struggle to find the real you?
I think as a child, I actually didn't think so much. It was very performance driven. I took part in mostly everything. So we don't know what we're good at that time. So the important part is that I took part in academics. If there was something to do with creativity, I took part in it. And over the time, I realized that it made me a multitasker. I could do so many more things and it helped me choose later on what I would be good at. So I just feel like I was quite competitive. I just wanted to be there, do the thing and then see what I'm good at. So I think that helped me a lot.
So I think that is what helped you figure out because you tried a lot of things and then you found your space and then you became good at it.
Correct. Or I said that I tried being good at it at that time. That was also there. That energy was there that I wanted to excel. And I tried putting that. So I came to know what I could excel in. A person cannot excel in everything. So I at least came to know what I'm good at. Yeah. So
after all that creative energy, you went and joined DE Shaw in finance. That sounds like a complete U-turn. Or was that a natural progression to what you were trying to discover in yourself?
Yes, I was academically good and that's how I actually, I was good in accounts, I was good in commerce. I specialized in commerce. I did my BBM in Christ. and I sat through an office college placement, and that's how I got into D Shaw. It was a very good opportunity for me because I could see the corporate side. I could see how good they are in processing things and making systematic procedures and doing work. And how important a team is. So, but however, I knew I cannot do a desk job. I started to get bored, and then I just came back to Bangalore with no game plan, but a lot of learning, and I actually had a lot of fun because it's the first time I actually stayed out of home, away from home. So it was a great experience. Yes, it was a great experience because, you are this child who has the money and now you can enjoy yourself. So yeah, I actually had that 1 year was a lot of fun for me. Then I came back, but that's good.
That's like a prelude to my next question. So you're from a family where celebrations is a big thing, right? Especially weddings. So did you see yourself in the event space much earlier, or it just happened?
Yes, I come from a family where celebrations is a big thing. We celebrate everything. And I've seen these kind of decors, the kind of experience I've had it from childhood, and it is not alien to me. So when I got into this field, I saw that I already had the flair for it. I knew what things should look like. I already had the aesthetic sense, that creative sense. Yeah, and then I just realized it's easy for me to think in this way, and I knew the requirements. We could have seen it earlier. So it again, like I said, I actually truly believe in going with the flow, and things worked out for me because I did that. Because I went with the flow and I was like, try karne mein kya harj hai? Kar lo, dekhenge. What would you lose if you just did this? You don't like it, move on to something else, right? We are privileged enough to have that support with us. We have that money. We don't have that constraint that we have to win, or earn. So I feel like we should have that. We have the opportunity. We should use it, not make it like, oh, ye nahi kiya and it didn't work out. Go to another thing. No, try that. Maybe we are good at that. So,
and very early on, you realize what you do want to do.
Yeah.
So which was easier for you to focus on what
things that I can try. And I was lucky enough that the second thing I tried, I clicked for me.
Yeah.
So yes, but yeah, I again didn't stop at that.
Let's talk about Atara events. Because this is not a big scale, 500 guest wedding kind of operation. This is something very specific.
So Atara as a word, it's A-T-A-R-A. It is a Hebrew word for crown or a garland. It is actually, you're adorning something, a celebration. You're adorning, giving the final touches to a celebration, giving the taj to the celebration. So the idea of my events as Atara is also that we adorn your memories. We adorn the sweet event that you're already having. We're making it more beautiful. So giving it, more magical, giving it meaning, giving it, the look. Maybe you want to enjoy it. You don't want to work behind the scenes trying to put that in there.
Exactly.
So as a company, we try to ease that for you so that you can enjoy your experience, your event more. What would you say? You're enjoying it more. You're living it more. You're living in the present. Exactly. And when you look back into the pictures and all, you see a beautiful space that you lived that. So as Atara, we go into the details. We try to see what the client wants. We see the vibe of the venue. We see the vibe of whether it's a day party, morning party, evening party. What is the occasion that you're celebrating? Who would your guest be? So there are a lot of things that go into planning an event. Big or small, whether it's wedding, you plan a lot more. A smaller event, you plan less. But when you're calling so many guests to your party, you want your party to stand out. So Atara helps you do that. We try to make those, customize it to your guests, your requirements, and then we base the theme. Then it's a step-by-step procedure.
So what is the range of events that Atara provides? Is it just birthday parties and weddings? Can you tell us?
More social events. We have done a lot of corporate parties. We have decorated for exhibitions, and we have done some corporate launches, store launches, a lot of jewelry brands, stores, and even the brand. We do store showcase, the window displays of stores as well. Anything which needs creative touch to it, anything that needs decor, needs some kind of aesthetics, we are there to add it for you. A we don't do the straightforward corporate parties where there is light stage, Eid al-Do, and that sort of thing. We avoid it. But anything that needs personal touch to it, where we can get involved and make the experience better instead of just getting what you want, like, oh yeah, chair la do, table la do. That's anything, that anyone can do that. 500 other team, they could do that. I'm here to put my aesthetic touch to it and give it a thing which I can do, right? Like my aesthetics can be only personal to me. It cannot be given to someone else.
It cannot be AI generated.
Yeah, it cannot be. Nor can it be with that 500 people. I'm sure the same props, you wouldn't, the same props, you doing a deca and I would be doing it, it'll become different. Yeah, so it's just, you're enjoying someone's, other's imagination. And so I have got times when the clients are like, I wasn't imagining it to be so pretty, but it's looking more beautiful than my imagination. And those are the times that has really helped me grow, because finally you know that you have good taste and chalo, there's some appreciation to.
So you're in the right path.
Yeah. So, and it's instant appreciation or recognition, right? I have realized with events that's the beautiful part, and Tara lives for it, that at least the client comes back and said that, okay, I wasn't imagining this and it's more prettier than that. So yeah, that's always what I want to take back home.
Okay, that's very nice, and I think you need such encouraging words to keep it going.
Totally.
So what I understand from your answer now is you cater to a wide range of events. Now, how do you maintain quality across all these events, Sonal? Because I think that also would be one of your USP, right? If not, it's difficult to sustain in a crowded space as events.
Truly. But as much as we want everything to be perfect, we want everything to be quality, we want everything to be in the right place at right time. There are been times when you can't do much, things are not in your hand. And events is very fast paced, it's in the moment. And if something goes wrong, we have to think then, what can we change? What best can we do now? So it's more solution based than the problem based. My point being that we try to maintain our quality, we try to do our best. We try seeing that the work is going on, but we cannot.
I think your sourcing also would be the best.
That vendors being on time, flowers coming, flowers being. There's not one thing. To make an event, we need so many people. There's lights, furniture, gourmet. So it looks, when you come for a party, you're coming with a relaxed mood, you're coming to eat food, just that. But to put up that event, we have gone through so much. We were there 6 hours before, we are going to be 4 hours after you leave the party. It's a whole day for us. So we really try and maintain quality, but there have been times, I wouldn't lie, but the things go wrong. And the thing is to stand in your favor. It's, we do beautiful decors and it's rained and everything is in outdoor. There have been when the crisis of the, Indigo happened, the bride and groom didn't reach their own wedding function without guests, and they finished the decor there. What can we do? So there have been, I've seen this for other people also, not just me. This is an event, this is an industry problem. So we can't help it. So the only thing we can do is be calm and own up for sometimes the things that go wrong. Just say that, okay, I tried my best and I cannot concentrate on results more than that. So the outcome, you just do your work and the outcome is what it's going to be. I can only perform the best I can do right now. So it's been okay. I think till now quality has been maintained. We have been doing, it's also about the aesthetics and the different themes and designs that you do. Quality too is a part of it. There's a lot more before and after that as well. So we try maintaining everything. As of now, that's going well. But
so I'm a little interested to understand what is the creative process here. So when a client comes to you with a vague idea saying that, okay, I want a magical birthday party for my child. So how do you convert this one vague idea into an actual experience? I'm sure that's going to be...
Obviously. So they see your old work. That's how they've come to you. So there is a little bit of trust already that, okay, I've seen your old work and they've liked it. And that's how they come to you and they're a little more confident. So, but the first thing of everyone is like, how much will this cost? But it's not easy as just like, there's a fixed cost, itna hi hoga, just do it. it's so many things. Like I said, the venue matters. Are you getting furniture from the hotel? Is it a morning party? Do you need lights? Is it outdoor? What about the rains? So that is the starting part of it. So every time ask the client, let's have a conversation. Let's try understanding what your requirement is. If she comes with a big idea, like you asked me that, okay, theme. So we suggest, okay, first birthday, these are the themes that are doing well. This is the color palette. What would you like to choose? They even come to the place where they're telling us what they're going to wear or what is their child going to wear on that birthday. And we're even going to that extent, ki, okay, this will not camouflage with the backdrop. Wear this color, wear that color. So we go to that much detailing with the client. They're sending us the pictures of the clothes the kids are going to wear.
I thought all this will happen in the, big...
No, even for... But, so in here in Bangalore, I think a lot of parents don't celebrate the, birthday of the first birthday becomes a very big thing because their first celebration of that child is their first birthday.
Correct.
So they haven't done anything so far, and this like first birthday is an introduction. It's an announcement of that child almost.
Correct.
So they'd like to do big parties. So when we say, oh, weddings are very bigger, what do you do? Birthday parties. Birthday parties are a very big thing now, like theme birthday parties. There's so many things, so many activities for kids. There needs to be activities for adults. There needs to be gourmet food, big, larger than life cake. I'm sure you've seen. It's a never-ending thing. You can go all out with the creativity, and it's not going to end soon. Everyone is creative, so it's just going to increase. It's just going to become more and more. But I think that it's not needed. But I think, like I said, it's just that you have...
The parents have a vision, they want to have a nice lookbook. When the child grows up and says, see, this is how we celebrated your first birthday.
Correct. And then it's for them also, right? I always tell the first child's birthday, the child doesn't remember anything. It's for the parents. It's for the parents that they're celebrating. Their child is celebrating like, okay, now we are parents, let's do a birthday party. So a lot of excitement. Actually, when the clients come, they come with more excitement and so they are vague. But then when they see that, okay, this thing can be taken care of, they're very open to good ideas. They've attended a lot of parties. So it's okay. We manage.
Amalgamation of ideas.
Yeah, it takes a time. And that's why I'm saying it's always good to come a month earlier at least, even for a birthday party, so that there is enough time to create. If I need to create something, I need to make something, I have time to call from it, different places in India. We work with so many different crops, and
so you don't stick with what you have. So you're always open
to making new things. We always tell our clients, one theme, a boy can like superhero, and I can have 15 superhero parties because all kids like superhero and they want a superhero party.
Correct.
So theme can be one. There's superhero soccer, but then how you make it different every time, because even I get bored making the same thing. So we tell our client, this is the basic, this is soccer, we will do this big, this size, blah, blah. But then we add a lot of detailing to it so that it doesn't look old. A lot of effort goes in each party.
So Atara is very personal to you, and that space is very detailed oriented. But then you went and started doing something completely different. Squeaky clean. Portable soap tablets. Walk us through the moment this idea hit you. I'm sure there's a story behind it.
Actually, no story, a very strong memory. So like I was in a school and we had a huge campus, and we had multiple washrooms, obviously, and all. And it's difficult with 3,000 or like more students, and in any space where there are so many people, it's difficult to keep refilling on, in the toilets to refill the hand wash and stuff. And between classes or anything, we need to use the washroom. There were times when there was no soap. And it was a struggle, honestly. And in Bangalore, we never used to get the soap, paper soaps that you get. And they are unhygienic. They stick to your hand, the paper. I was just thinking about it. I don't know why. It was a random thought I had after a late day at work. And I always liked cute small things. When I was a child also, I was like interested in small items. So I was like, why there should be something cool where, and I was eating a tablet. I was like, oh, ye soap tablet hota tha, haath dhone mein kitna acha rehta. And then just after that, it did stop. I was like, why does no something like this? Why isn't there something? I did a whole lot of research on Google, and there was nothing like it. There was no product like this. It was strange. It's something so simple, and I don't know why it wasn't there. And this thought came to me before before COVID. And we were supposed to launch before COVID. We were working on it. And obviously because of the lockdown and April and everything got moved. And we launched in 2020 December. And such a perfect timing because people started making hygiene their priority, and it was it was the right time. And I don't know, like I said, the thought came, I didn't want to let it go. I just gave it like, chalo try karte hain. And it worked. So I was like, why not? And even now, if you see and you just type in Squeaky Clean soap tablets online on Google, we are the only people who are doing this. So it's strange. But wow, I mean, I sometimes I'm in awe and I'm like, how did this happen? But yeah, it's a great thing. People appreciated it. They gave me good feedback when we came up with it. And it gave me the confidence that we should work on it more and more. Yeah.
So can you tell us what is the range of products you have in Squeaky Clean? Was there a lot of R&D that went through, or did you arrive at it very naturally?
Yeah, when we came up with the idea came first, and then came the time where we needed to actually make the product, and then come distribution. So obviously it was a very, very long process. It's taken step by step, and for formulation, we did through a lot of R&D. The formulation doesn't work. It's not so easy to create something like this. I didn't realize it till I started doing it, and then it's just something which is natural. It's skin friendly. We have tried avoiding any kind of chemicals in the product. We tried avoiding plastic. Even the packaging is tin. We have come up with refill. It's sustainability we have thought of, where you can refill the tins once you finish the hand wash for the first time. So we have 5 different kind of fragrances suiting all different scents of.
This is just hand wash.
This is just hand wash, and then the same concept came in face wash. Because like I said, we used to travel with such big tubes of face wash and put it in another container. This is a dry item. 1 tablet is 1 time face wash. And
13 days, just the
15, morning, evening, whatever. Yeah, right? And traveling makes it so easy. People are trekking. They want to wash their face. I mean, this is such a thing that can go anywhere with you. School, college, so many places. So the face wash was the second kind of product. And then now we are planning to launch another product by the end of this year. So that's very exciting, something I'm looking forward to. I hope it works. So the R&D is going on in that, so I don't want to jinx it by saying anything more. Yeah, but then I'm very excited because something I think we will all need. And so that's what's happening.
I think, Sonal, I knew about Squeaky Clean much before I knew you. I think I've shared this story with you.
Yes, I was so happy to know that.
So as you said, for a person who has OCD like me, at least the hygiene bit of it, this is God's send. As you said, it's portable, it's so small, it fits into any of your boxes. Audience, this is Squeaky Clean.
This is the face wash. The hand wash is also separately there.
Yes.
But that's what I always like, small cute things, and I wanted to make Squeaky Clean as cute, as handy, so that kids enjoy taking this with them.
And the loud colors, I just love
the designing, and even the scents. They're lemon, chamomile, vanilla, coconut, few very mild scented things that go very well with everyone.
So I think Squeaky Clean is available on Amazon, Flipkart, WH Smith, Organic World. That is some serious distribution. So how are you managing all this in different channels? So I think as an entrepreneur, I'm sure there are others who would be interested to understand how you're managing this level of distribution.
One thing Squeaky Clean has taught me is patience. It's going to take a lot of time. It's pan-India. And to distribute pan-India is not easy. Like I said, I got into it and then I came to know the nitty-gritties of it. It's not easy to reach the corners of India, the kind of money they want to pay for the kind of product. Online is much easier. It is you find the people at the right time. It's easier to do online because if once you see it online, there's no physical store, the expenses are much less. But when it comes to retail marketing and distribution of your product, it's a challenge and it's going to take time. You need to work on it consistently, and the marketplace is too huge. So though you're saying the distribution is good, I feel like we have have sent it abroad. We've sent it to Amazon US also, but it's not enough. In FMCG, the distribution market is never enough. You can give it to the world, right? Like the whole world is your market.
Yes.
So yeah, there is no end to it. I wouldn't say I'm good at it or I am. It's a struggle, and I'm still trying to figuring it out because I wasn't from this field. The idea just came. I just got into it, and then step by step, I'm learning what to do. And it's a sole proprietorship, so I am taking all the decisions. I'm learning, and whatever I can do best, I'm trying to do that. So sometimes it works, and sometimes it's like, okay, learn.
Like,
Yeah.
keep learning this.
Yeah, so you can't take things to heart. With any kind of business, I think there are failures and you cannot take it ki, okay, this is the end of it. You have to say, theek hai, khatam ho gaya, let's move on, do something else. So that's what trial and error. But it's been nice, and everyone has been very supportive. So I'm grateful.
That is very important.
Yeah.
So Atara is a service company. Squeaky Clean is a product company.
Yeah.
So it's using two different muscles. In a day, how do you switch between these two?
I believe in multitasking, and I've learned that from like my past, and it helps. That's the one thing that has helped me. My experiences so it's easier for me to multitask. Though events are fast-paced, Squeaky Clean is slow-paced, both have taught me different things, and somehow all businesses and a small business or a owner needs to be a multitasker, so needs to be good in everything. So both the things have taught me two different things, but I switch easily, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because of the whole thing of previous, and you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a choice but to switch. This is at hand, do it now. So whatever comes my way, what is most important, my priority, I take that at stride and just switch ki ye karna hai, ye kar lo. I don't think so much ye Squeaky Clean ka hai, ye Atara ka hai. It's work and you have to do it. So do you do it the best you can? So yeah.
One thing I find really interesting about your journey is that neither of the businesses came from a traditional business plan. They both came from real life. If you had to pick one lesson that Atara taught you that helped you build Squeaky Clean, and one lesson from Squeaky Clean that changed how you run Atara, what would they be?
Yeah, for certain, every experience counts, whether it's at work or even outside, right? So with Atara, like I said, it's fast paced at the moment. You need things right there. Appreciation comes there. And with Squeaky Clean, it's taught me patience. It's taught me so much patience that it's going to take time. People are going to take time. The product is going to take time. The consistency is important. Again, with Atara, working with people, working with workforce on ground force, working with different vendors, talking to clients, closing on projects. So obviously, even with Squeaky Clean, that is needed, right? It's the same thing. If you're talking about Squeaky Clean here, you're talking about Atara. So, I mean, though they're different fields, they have a lot of things in common where the works, and at the same time, they're so different paced. So, it just made me more aware of how things are and how you should run. Both the things have taught me, and both the things are different and tough in their own ways. And both the things teach you to, and they overlap at certain times. Yeah. So I'm so glad I've got to see this. I got to see the corporate side. I got to see this side. I got to see the FMCG side. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I'm trying to figure out which job is less difficult, So now I've started telling people, everyone, whatever they're doing, it's difficult. It's just that, okay, you have to do it well. That's all. Yeah.
So then again, I'm going to add another question to this answer. So now you have two businesses that you're running. So where do you see yourself or see Atara or Squeaky Clean in 2-3 years' time? Are you going to say you're going to switch between one of them? Or what's your vision for both your businesses?
I think vision of any entrepreneur would be growth, right? Like you want to see your company grow, do better.
So what growth are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, with Atara, obviously in this field, I want to see better events for me. I want to, actually more than anything, I want to build a better team. A team that can work on its own. So with Atara, that is practically, that is my goal. That in near future, I want a great team. I want to build a great team. I want to take better events. events and grow in this, in this field. And for Squeaky Clean, it again is very practical: accessibility, the awareness of the product, how I can reach more places, more distribution. And I want to get into the retail space where you can buy this out of a counter. So it's then that is a very ball game. And the amount of stores that are there, right? Like so many stores, how you're managing that. So learning about that, it's a process, marketing. So like I said, in the near future, growth. And obviously with Squeaky Clean, also with Squeaky Clean, my exciting product. So that is that is something that I'm looking forward to. Physically that, but growth, obviously, that's the main thing.
Interesting. We're looking forward to see where
I'm also looking forward. Like I said, everything go with the flow. Yes.
It is time for the Sahasra question. This one comes from our title sponsor, Sahasra Property Capital. Sonal, Athara means crown in Hebrew, as you earlier said to us in the conversation, and your events are known for their attention to detail and experience. If you were curating an event for 1,500 women entrepreneurs, not a conference, not a seminar, but an actual experience, what would it look like, and what would people walk away? What is the kind of feeling they would walk away with?
Women entrepreneurs. So everyone is good at their field, right? Like entrepreneurs, they're different fields and they're from different backgrounds. So getting all of them to one event, which will be, exciting for all of them is difficult. So I wouldn't say it will be an entrepreneurial take on that event. I would firstly like to do 1,500 people, just do it online like this. But if I don't have a choice and it has to be a physical event, I would say it'd be an all-day event. Come at your own time and pace. I don't want to be like, time to time, and then have like something, experience, music, dance, some moments, some movement around the place. It cannot be, you need to learn strategy, you need to learn entrepreneurial. It sometimes is learning normal things, just enjoying yourself, being yourself helps you so much.
I think we could teach mahjong to the
and relax. My head is working more there now. So I mean, it's actually helped me because it is moving my directing my thoughts in different things, other than just getting stuck to this one thing. So talking about that event, I would want it to be like that, an easy, free-flowing thing where people are doing fun activities, bonding. There's some good conversations, and you go relaxed and you go refreshed more than I had so much takes to take. So I would do an event, a fun event like a carnival where there are stall games, maybe a big English carnival, or like that would be so much fun, or like a big picnic. So something like that would be fun, I would say.
Okay, all right, Sonal, it's time to switch gears. This is off the cuff, and we are just going to go fast. So there is no thinking, just quick answers.
Rapid fire.
So
do I get a hamper after that?
We shall surely start working on it.
That's okay. I don't have competition.
So this is finished the sentence.
Okay.
The best events are the ones where
everything goes effortlessly, like my vendors are on time, things are on time, the events get over on time, where things moved the way it was supposed to be, and there was no outside, aaj ye nahi aaya, something like that.
The version of you that nobody sees.
The fun version, I think in events I can't show that, the jumpy version of me. So that only few people see and they love it. So I keep that to them for now.
Bangalore taught you?
To be independent, to do things on your own, and to be relaxed, laid back, but still do your work.
When you're stressed, what's the first thing you do?
I look for my friends. I think they've helped me be there for me when I need them the most. So I don't like to sit lonely when I'm stressed. I like to be meeting people and tell them, this is happening to me. So they tell me, I'll get better. I want to hear that.
The one thing people mistake about you?
I think because I'm jumpy and I don't come across very serious to people, maybe they take that differently. So I think that everything needs to be fun. So even work. So I like to be like this myself, even if it is about work.
What is that one wrong assumption people have about events business?
That it's glamorous. It's like, look at this, so pretty flowers. I'm like, you come behind the scenes. So the behind the scenes, it's hard work.
So this or that is our next segment. A big fat wedding or an intimate 50-member wedding?
50-member wedding if I had the choice.
Is it Amazon review or an honest review from your
Client.
client?
Honest review from the client. It's instant, no? They're telling you on your face. So yes,
Is it a 5-year-old
birthday.
birthday party or a brand launch?
5-year-old birthday party. So much fun.
A charcoal soap tablet or a chamomile
Lemon chamomile.
lemon?
Yes.
Planning everything or winging it?
Planning everything as of now, but I intend to move there sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Bangalore traffic or Mumbai humidity?
I don't Bangalore traffic any day.
Sonal, this is the question I ask every guest on Beyond the Bio. Same question every episode. If you could leave the Flow community and all the entrepreneurs and leaders and everyone who has tuned in with one line, one thing to carry into the week, what would it be?
I would say you start first and then everything will follow. Clarity will follow. Things will work on space. Don't wait for anything. Start.
Now that's very powerful because I know for a fact that many of us are sitting on great ideas but just not putting it into action.
It has worked for me. I just started and it grew.
Take that risk.
Yeah. How much risk? What is that risk?
Yeah.
You have the time, you have the skill. Maybe it won't work out. What's the loss?
It's okay.
Yeah, you try something
At least
else.
you have the satisfaction of saying,
Doing
I
something.
tried it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and it worked for me beautifully. I started, then dekha jayega, and it just worked on its own. So it will, I'm sure.
That is a very powerful statement. Thank you, Sonal. Thank you for being on.
Thank
on
you
the
for
podcast.
having me over. And thank you so much for these questions. It's made me realize so many things I wouldn't have thought of otherwise, like sitting back and thinking I wouldn't, but you've made me realize so many things which I should have given thought to before.
And we are looking forward for the new product launch.
Yes.
Exciting. I would want to know
By end
what
of this
that is.
year, for sure. That's the plan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Sonal, thank you for keeping it real with us today. I think there was a lot of people listening who have had the same moment, that idea at 2 a.m., that frustration that could be something, but you actually went and built it twice. What I loved about this conversation is that neither of your business came from a boardroom or a pitch deck. They came from real life, from noticing things that others walked past. And that is a skill. To everyone listening, this is Flow Bengaluru's podcast, Beyond the Bio, powered by Sahasra Property Capital. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who's sitting on an idea and waiting for the perfect time. There is no perfect time, just ask Sonal. Subscribe, follow, and we will see you in the next one. And remember, this is where it gets real.